Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Story Highway, where every story takes you on a journey through time, emotions, and memories. Today's story is called The Train That Never Waited, a tale of choices, missed moments, and the second chances that life quietly offers when we least expect it. It was a crisp autumn morning in Pennsylvania, and the air smelled faintly of rain and burning leaves. A young woman named Clara Jameson, dressed in a worn brown coat, stood at the old town railway station, clutching a letter in her trembling hands. The platform clock ticked louder with every second, reminding her that time, just like trains, never truly waited. Clara had once been a dreamer, a girl who wrote songs about love and painted sunsets by the lake, until life took away her colors. Her father had fallen sick, her fiancé had left for war, and the little bookstore where she worked was about to close forever. That letter she held was her last hope, an invitation from a music producer in New York who had heard her sing once at a local fair 5 years ago. "Come by Monday," it read, "and we'll talk about your first record." But that was written 2 weeks ago. She had delayed again and again, afraid to leave her ailing father alone. And now, standing on that platform, she faced the choice that could change everything: stay for comfort or go for her dreams. As the train's whistle echoed, she saw her reflection in the window, tired eyes, messy hair, but a spark still alive. She took a deep breath and stepped forward, but just as she reached the edge, a voice called her name. It was her neighbor, Mrs. Whitman, running breathlessly, saying her father had fainted again. The train roared, the steam rose, and the doors closed. Clara froze as the train began to move, her heart split between duty and desire. She watched it vanish, her dream fading into the fog. Days turned into weeks, and Clara stayed by her father's side. She cared for him until his final breath, and when he was gone, she felt both lost and strangely free. The world seemed quieter, and the letter from New York lay faded on her dresser. For months she didn't sing, didn't paint, didn't hope, until one day, while cleaning the attic, she found her father's old gramophone and a note taped to it that said, "Music will bring you home again." Tears welled up as she placed an old record and heard her father's voice from years ago. "Clara, don't ever stop singing." That night, she sat by the window, humming softly, and for the first time, the music felt like a promise rather than a memory. A year later, she worked at a small cafe in the same town, singing on weekends. One evening, a man in a suit walked in, ordered coffee, and listened silently as she sang her father's favorite tune. After her performance, he approached her table and said, "You have a voice people remember. I'm from the New York label that once wrote to you." She stared in disbelief. He continued, "We're opening a studio in Philadelphia, and we'd love for you to record with us." For a moment, the world felt still, like time had circled back to give her another train, one that didn't need to be chased this time. She smiled faintly and whispered, "I thought I missed my chance." The man smiled back, "Some trains come back for the right passengers." A week later, Clara stood in a recording studio for the first time. Her voice trembled at first, but when she closed her eyes, she imagined her father sitting in the corner, smiling proudly. The song she recorded was titled "The Train That Never Waited." When it played on the radio months later, it became an anthem for every dreamer who ever thought it was too late. Years passed, and Clara grew old, but never stopped singing. Her songs played in cafes, train stations, and living rooms across the country. People said her music carried something different, a kind of truth that only those who have waited, lost, and hoped again could understand. On her final night, as the wind rustled through the curtains, she sat by the same window where it had all begun, holding a photo of her father. She whispered, "I made it, Papa," and closed her eyes with a smile. Outside, a train whistle echoed through the valley, long and gentle, as if the universe itself was saying, "Well done." So, dear listeners, this was the train that never waited, a story about life's missed moments, second chances, and the quiet truth that sometimes even the dreams we think are lost find their way back to us when our hearts are ready. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Story Highway, because here, every story finds its stop.